This is certainly something I haven't done in a while. If only I knew where to start, though. Perhaps an introduction. Hey everyone, it's me, Realm Wars, with a rant video for you people of today. Now, for those of you wondering why I suddenly decided to go back to making rant videos when I said in a video on someone else's channel I was done with the whole thing, I'm going to admit here, people, perhaps I chose the wrong words for it. I'm done with making commentaries, that's for sure, but as for rants, that just seems like something I can't let go of. I mean, when I usually have a problem with something, my first reaction is to go on a tirade about how I think it's stupid and express my opinion on it, because after all, we're people. We have minds to form opinions, and we have every right to show our opinion any way we please. Even if someone may not agree with it, that shouldn't mean I'm completely restricted to stating my thoughts on something. So, I may not be doing commentaries anymore, but I'll probably come out with a rant video here and there, depending if I find something worth talking about, or something that absolutely warrants a video. Don't expect these too often either, knowing how my video schedule often is, so this channel will still seem as if it's dead. Now that I've gotten that information out of the way, it's time to discuss who exactly my rant is on right now. Originally, I was going to join in a video with Spike Hedgeline 8 and Adams We on this, considering we've all dealt with this guy's bullshit, but after listening to the original recording, we sounded very jumbled together and our thoughts were just going everywhere. I really thought this was something that needed to be scripted out because not only was more happening with this individual, but I feel there should be more structure to it. Assuming I don't fly off the handle and try doing some unscripted improv things while reading a script. I don't know how much that happens. The guy I'm talking about today is Jaytheneokid on DeviantArt, or as I like to call the second coming of Keg Sandy. Maybe even worse. Yes, I just said that. First off, let's get into a bit of history on how I encountered this individual. Back on HitMU49 when that account existed, I posted a picture which involved Double House Animations flying off with his eagle and berating every member of a website. Oh yes, this all goes back to Vic. Any memories kicking in? Meanwhile, I get plenty of comments from people saying, this is obviously fake, someone's impersonating him, but the one set of comments that were coming from a certain individual just so happened to be from a user known as Jaytheneokid, and this one was the most interesting out of the bunch that commented. Everyone else who got their arguments refuted, they simply just shut up and didn't say anything. This guy, on the other hand, he was a real stubborn piece of work. So it's hitting me 49, I decided to have a little fun with this guy. So, to which oftentimes, and by that I mean by the end of every day, he would shift from wall of text man to shouty, angry bipolar man. Afterwards, he changed his mind about defending Vicious after hearing about all the horrible things that the guy's done. So he started going against Vicious for a bit, and then something in his mind caused him to go back to defending him again. Wasn't exactly sure at first. I mean, he claimed he was going to try to stop the drama, which, let's be frank here, is not exactly helping the drama die, but I know what the real reason was, or more so a guess of what happened. Right after he started hating Vic, Vic himself made a journal bashing Jay and saying he was going to make him a sprite sheet, but now with Jay's current attitude, he's not going to do it anymore. Somewhere around that time, Jay started going back to Vic and started defending him again. Some may say this is a coincidence and a really big stretch, but also keep in mind this guy is also known to trying to guilt trip people to being his friends and even uses them for self-esteem boosts the way he doesn't have to do anything to earn a pat on the back. Hell, look at one of his recent polls on DeviantArt. Am I sexy? Yeah, that's definitely not a cry for ego boosting if I ever saw one. So really, I feel a bit safe with this. Now, Jay seems to relentlessly go after a user by the name of Sweetthorn, a guy who, without even needing to go into lengthy research, you could tell is an obvious troll. All sorts of things are said about this guy. He bashes on Super Smash Bros. 4 videos saying you're all stupid. He praises Chris Thorndike from Sonic X as a loving character. He hates Flash animations and says that they're all stupid, and even claims to be a worshipper of Marita Plummer and Gligar 13 vids. If the last bit didn't give it away, then you're probably too young to be watching my videos. Yet he seems to have a very unhealthy grudge against Sweetthorn. Up to the point where he posts like 10 posts? Jesus Christ, this is Armored Cat vs. I Michael all over again. I think this is my cue to start getting into what I think about this person. Plain and simple, he's the lowest human intelligence can go. But that's not enough to do this guy justice. Or injustice, depending on whose viewpoint you're looking at this video at. How about we take a look at some of his journals, like his newest one, which is on Sweetthorn at the time of this recording. Seriously, how many of these are you going to make until you figure out the guy is a troll? Actually, I can't even ask that because you know that the guy is a troll. You even state it in your titles and as well as the actual journal itself. Yet, you still believe you should give him all this attention because, you know, it obviously worked so well the last time you tried doing this. I believe Albert Einstein had a saying for guys like you. I believe it goes on the lines of insanity. The act of doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. Well, kind of kicking the dramatic reading most of this. The first paragraph on this journal bugs the hell out of me. First of all, nice job linking the troll's account on your journal so more people can give him what he wants. Real smart thinking there. Secondly, keep trying, dude, with your failure of trolling attempt. How is he a failed troll? He's getting your attention, he's getting you pissed off. How is he a failed troll if you're doing exactly what he wants you to do? If he was actually a failed troll, you wouldn't be responding to him with 10 posts on the fucker. This kind of mentality I really hate hearing from people. You remember guys like Deer Mouse when they would go after tubers and go, "Oh, you're trying too hard to troll me. Well, you want to know something? You're not gonna win. I'm not pissed at you. You're just making a fool of yourself." Like, put on this fake show as if you're not angry at this person or not getting reactionary about it. If this said troll is not getting to you, then why do you even bother responding? You show an ounce of caring when you do that. That's why people like I could tell you don't feed the troll, because that's exactly what they want you to do. As for his complaints on how DA's system works, honestly, I don't blame him for coming to that conclusion he did. So the admins and mobs are going to flag a person's stuff down because it consists of screenshots, and that's somehow considered abuse. Yet they're not even going to bother terminating someone like you who stalks someone on a site, which is a form of harassment. Seriously, what kind of backwards logic does this site run on? That's like saying you'll arrest someone for pushing children out of oncoming traffic because it's an assault charge, but not arresting someone who commits an act of domestic violence. Oh, they nicely removed it. It's only nice to you because they removed something that inconvenienced you. They removed their journal where you boldly stated you never blocked Sweetthorn, yet you end up doing just that, and then he decided to expose you for it. Besides, if screenshots are such a big form of abuse, then how come you haven't been contacted by DA admins yet? After all, you've got screenshots still in your gallery. I don't even care how old they are. The fact that they're still in there, you haven't removed them, and are following the ideal that screenshots are harassment, then you should be given the same treatment. How is it fair that someone like Sweetthorn gets his post deleted, but not yours? It's incredibly one-sided. It just shows you hold an unhealthy grudge with Sweetthorn. Then again, the fact that you can't shut the fuck up about him for more than 5 seconds practices the game that way too. Now if we can go on to the next sentence. Do I smell an ironic statement of events here? Or is this degenerate scumbucket lip-dick motherfucker actually going to do anything but prove to me that he is a sexual harassing cyber stalker that wants to fondle and grope my genitals and then make a journal with every emo that he can clearly be faking just to gain attention that makes him cry like a 5-year-old when his family and non-friends could ever give him? Christ, how do I comma? Also, I love how you're trying to act like this edgy internet tough guy and spore out insults like you're some kind of bamf, when the whole reason you're getting on Sweetthorn's case is because he insults people. He's too blunt with what he says. So you can insult people, but no one else can. We smart people have a word for people like you. I believe it's hypocrite. Do you know what's even funnier? The fact that you included the word in the title on this journal, or the fact that you're basically everything you see wrong with this person you see in this journal. I don't know, just a hint of irony there. Maybe this journal's self-aware. On top of that, you call him a sexual harassing cyber stalker. How is he sexually harassing people? He's not going up to anyone and saying he's going to rape anyone. Never once did he say that, so already you're spreading lies about the guy, and the fact that you called him a stalker. This coming from the guy who kept going back to Sweetthorn and broadcasting every little thing that he does, as well as even admitting on his page that you will continue to stalk him until the day his account is terminated. So you can stalk people, but no one else can. What a contradiction. That, and you bring up how he makes journals on your stupidity. I'm sorry, but aren't you doing the exact same thing? In fact, haven't you done that like 10 times already? What makes you so goddamn special? Also, for you claiming that he's just doing this to gain attention. Well, gee, nice deduction there, Sherlock. It's almost like he's a fucking troll. Bill Cosby, any other being or person you include in your pointless acts of trolling, attention seeking, and how you treat not just your surroundings but everyone else's opinions and blunt statements on you makes me think you're the weakest, dumbest, sadistic, winging, manipulating, destructive, abusive, petulant little demon spawn that the only way you can gain pleasure these days is masturbating, watching Red vs. Blue and looking up Bill Cosby to be your Lord and Savior when you get in the gym. Yeah, I'm obviously skipping some things here and there because I just want to get to the good stuff. Plus, majority of this journal is basically him dragging out pointless and painful things, so it's really hard to read, honestly. And hey, who wouldn't want Bill Cosby as their Lord and Savior? After all, he taught us the hidden meanings of the Bible. Also, pointless acts of trolling and attention seeking. Question, Jay, how is it pointless if he's getting exactly what he wants from you? This goes back to how you claim he's a failed troll. How is trolling pointless if you're doing exactly what he wants you to do? And that's to get pissy and angry at him. Really, if there's anyone who should cut their facade, it's you. You're the only one here who's in denial about being trolled, and you think giving yourself the supreme messiah complex is the answer. No wonder you're always losing friends. As for the adjectives you describe him as, let's do a bit of dissecting here. You call him weak. Says the guy who blocked Sweetthorn and talked shit about him with no way to go up to you and personally defend himself. You call him dumb. Says the guy who admits to having a 67 IQ. Sadistic. He's only talking about how much of an idiot you are. You really think that's sadistic? I hate to hear your definition of morbid then. Whining. Yeah, it's whining, not winging. Dumbass. This coming from the guy who made 10 posts whining about the same guy. Manipulating. Aren't you the one who tries to get people to like you and sympathize with you by guilt-tripping and lying to them? Destructive. Says the guy who goes up to everyone who complains about how much he wants to kill himself. Oh, I'll get into a bit of that later. Abusive. Why? Because you pointed out your bullshit? How is that abusive? Petulant. You look in a mirror lately? And lastly, a little demon spawn. Really, Jay? You're gonna call him a demon spawn? First of all, I can't help but laugh at this because Jay recently changed his DA name to Tailus the Demon Hog 666 and is now labeling Sweetthorn as a demon spawn. Do you see the irony here? Secondly, aren't you overreacting a bit? He just made posts about how you made an idiot of yourself and you're going to label him as a demon spawn? You do realize any attempt at appearing nonchalant about the whole thing just got thrown out the window because of that, right? So anytime you say that you're not angry about this, or you try to act like you have a cool head on this, yeah, I just want you guys to keep that little demon spawn comment in mind. Also, ever heard of editing your grammar and speech? You say that I can't use the English language correctly, huh? Excuse me while I post your errors and fix them, since I know how much you loathe people fixing your failure of speech and correct grammar. Jay, you can't do that shit either. Hell, in this journal, you spelt whining wrong. Let's go even further. How about all the times you spelled hypocritical as hypercritical? You're the last person I want teaching me how to spell and structure my sentences because you can't fucking do it either. Besides, aren't you the guy who talks about how you dropped out of school? So again, why should I take advice from someone who hasn't even completed their education? It's like asking someone who has no knowledge on cars about how to fix an engine. Also, how you claim he can't use pronunciations? How about you come back when you learn how to comma? Hell, you even fucked up when you were listing your colorful adjectives about him. Notice how he'll sometimes use commas to separate certain adjectives, but forget to add commas to others? You know, like when you called Sweetthorn a dumbest sadistic? Your grammar and spelling is even worse than Sweetthorn's. So kindly get off your high horse and stop pretending to be things you clearly aren't. I also have to ask, what is the point of copying and pasting the original journal into this one? I know you guys can't exactly say it, but in the journal, he basically posted an edited version of Sweetthorn's journal, and then right afterwards, he posts the original journal in an attempt to prove that Sweetthorn has horrible grammar. Question, Jay, if you already linked to the original journal at the beginning, then what was the point of having this? You could have just clicked that link to Sweetthorn's journal and see the original there. This, my friends, is what we call padding. Right? What internet browser do you use exactly? Because honestly, if your journals have so many red lines under most of your words and punctuations, how can you say that Bill Cosby or any wise being or individual can read you, understand you, or give a damn on what you share? Yeah, lack of commas there again. Weird, no comments? Now, check mine. Oh, look, more comments than you. Most of them trying to help you. Nope, you really don't see that, do you? Jay, didn't you just get done criticizing Sweet Thorn about using punctuations? Seriously, there should be a period after punctuation. I'm not kidding, people. One of the words where he misses an obvious punctuation error is right after the word punctuation. You don't get more ironic than that. As for weird no comments, first of all, no shouldn't be capitalized because it's the middle of a sentence. Secondly, maybe he would have a comment if you didn't block him. Honestly, the fact that you're still making like 10 posts on him makes me question what the point of blocking him even did. You still talk about him, you still give him ammunition to use against you, you still get pissy with him. What did blocking him even do? Plus, this here basically sounds like you're trying to taunt him. Like you're one of those guys who takes a little kid's head off, raises it high, and watches the little kid desperately jump for it and get it back. As for my poll, well, I can do what I feel like doing. You can journal and over-opinionate and over-blunt the entire world about it. Bitch complain about fan bases, how much you love, hate Justin Bieber, how much of a Chris Thorndike molester you are, and contradict Chris not being in the Sonic series and in sprites, and bitch about how animators and other beings come or go. By the way, how's that custom sprite you have in your art file doing? What, no updates, no improvements? What a shocker. Oh, so you can do whatever you feel like on your page because it's my page, I can do what I want. But Sweetthorn can't because he's over-opinionated and it's over-blunt. Aside from the obvious poor grammar in this, you say Sweetthorn is too blunt about what he thinks. Look at you, Jay. You called him a fucking demon spawn and called him a molester. You don't think that's being blunt? Also, what does his custom sprite have to do with this? You were bringing up something that has nothing to do with the topic at hand. Besides, what exactly have you done for sprite work? The only thing I've seen from you going on is how much you hate Sweetthorn. What exactly is your sprite process? Look, even in the same paragraph, he spells hypocritical as hypercritical. Jesus Christ, how can you criticize anyone's spelling when you can't even get that right? Hell, you spelled it right in the title of this journal, yet you apparently mess it up here. What happened? I've done some crimes, but where is the proof of the people I've hurt, treated like crap and so on? Where are those in your evidence files, you crooked detective? Where are they? The people I've abused and treated wrong. I at least have the balls to sort out the situation and put things to an end. What about you, though? Do you help anybody? Do you give a damn about anyone like Realm Wars? Hey, that's me. I don't think you do. So, what's it like being on a site where all you do is bitch, bitch, and bitch when some more or and follow your original plan, journal bash, troll bash, and just laugh yourself to sleep at night? Jay, you do know the whole you don't have evidence on me abusing people doesn't work when the very next paragraph you admit to abusing people? Also, you have the balls to sort out the situation? I'm sorry, since when? Oh, you mentioned me later on, asking if he gave a damn about me. Funny you say that, because after when I've talked to you before, I told you what your problems were, I gave you advice on how to change your attitude and hopefully make your life get better. What did you do? You blocked me. Is that how you resolve your situations? Charming. Also, before you start saying all Sweetthorn does is bitch, bitch, and bitches, how about you say that when you haven't posted like 10 things on the guy and doing the exact same thing as he's doing? Besides, I do have to ask, when did you ever give a shit about me? I've talked to you before, and every time I tried to give you some kind of advice, you always shot it down and spit it back into my face. When exactly did you ever care about me? You didn't, so quit lying about it. Last part is an assumption, but O sweet Jesus, banish thy foul thorns to the endless plains of the dead, while the undead feast on thy flesh, as ye who failed to treat thy world as a world of eternal darkness shall be smite down by karma, the light in thy hope, faith, courage, and by the people who do more than help you, be used like you use your journals for to summon puppets, while you sit back like the lazy troll as others do your bidding for you. Call me a heathen if you like, but this is the kind of shit that explains why everyone is going atheist. You also claim there are people who do more than help Sweetthorn. That's rich coming from you. I remember going up to you on a few occasions where you asked me for advice, I gave it to you, and you just shot it back in my face. So let me ask you this. When do you ever accept help from other people? Now let me get one thing clear. I'm not saying you're completely wrong for not taking my advice. If there's anything I advise to anyone and you feel like you don't agree with it, that's fine by me. I'm sure you have a reason why, but please don't be that guy who shuts out everyone else trying to help you and berate them for basically doing the same thing you did. After all, people in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. On top of that, if you're the one asking for advice and you don't like my advice because it's not being the way you want it put, I'm sorry, but how is that my fault? I remember you coming to me before asking for advice, and I warned you on several occasions that I am an honest person, I will be blunt, and I will not easily give you the answers. What happened when I gave you advice? You complained how I was being too blunt and honest with what I thought, then proceeded to saying how I'm horrible at giving advice just because of that. It's not so much as you not following my advice, but spitting it back at me and saying I don't know what I'm saying when you were the one dumb enough to come to me in the first place. Also, the last thing you said here, while you sit back like a lazy troll and have others do your bidding for you. Aren't you the guy who posted a journal basically telling people to report Sweetthorn for you so you could get his account terminated? Yeah, I think you did. I find your journalism skills quite faulty, even though you have an IQ of what exactly? 95 going on what now, 62? Oh, that's going to take a long, long time for that troll to think wrong is right and right is wrong, and fun is boring and boring is fun. Jay, this statement here is exactly why you shouldn't criticize people's grammar. 95 going on 62? You do realize going on means progressing, right? You know when people's birthdays are coming up, they say, I'm 20 going on 21? That means they're about to grow up to be 21. 95 going on 62? That's not how that phrase works, Jay. Stop grammar Nazi. You can't do it right. Are you still in school, bro? Guess not. Homeschool must be great, where you were being forever alone, nobody to troll unless you're on the internet or just waiting for a family member to return home so you can troll and bash them also. Again, assumption, yet pretty sure that assumption could be leading to the fact on why he's so lonely that the only somewhat friend that he got IP banned and removed, and yet still complains about franchisees and other things that he can't resist to gain a long-ass argument over XD. Wait, aren't you a school dropout? Why are you making assumptions and making fun of someone for not being in school when you've admitted to being a dropout? Besides, if you don't know or have no way of backing up your claim, then why assume? Isn't that a little petulant? Something you labeled Sweetthorn for being? For a laugh, I will ask this, Sweetthorn. Who is a real god in religion? Or is religion something you hate just as much as homosexuality, bisexuality, fan bases, animes, drawings, people, DeviantArt, and many other things I can list down to throw on how much of a contraceptive prat you really are? Prat? Is that even a word? Also, what does this even have to do with this journal? What does religion and God have to do with Sweetthorn making fun of you? That I find is also ironic, considering this is coming from a guy with the number 666 in his name. What is this? Are you a human being or a broken record being played over and over and over again? Where's your pause button on you again? Crap, need to find you an instruction manual on how to operate the man-child and hopefully reprogram him some manners, respect, and much more things that he can download up his anal port where all the information is clearly stored. Ah, pot calling the kettle black, methinks. People will attempt to stop you, Sweet Thorn, but seriously, do you ever learn from your own mistakes, or do you keep leaving yourself clues just so others besides myself can easily get rid of you faster than you can say, I hate the Sonic franchise, but contradicting myself because I am in love with a character that's not even real, but is somehow more original than Sonic and the other characters in general? Contraceptive much? Yeah, people trying to stop Sweet Thorn, who is an obvious troll. Yeah, I don't even need to explain why that's wrong. Also, do you ever learn from your mistakes? How about you come back when you've stopped making journals on the same guy over and over again? After all, if it didn't work the first time, why the hell would it work the next several times? A person with common sense would get the idea that if responding over and over again to this guy doesn't work, then let me try not responding to him at all. You know, ignoring him. No, you still keep going at him, giving him exactly what he wants. I love that you will keep seeing the journals and polls that I make, and what makes me smirk even more is the fact that you removed the reading JJ's stupid journal. What happened? Did DA stop you from doing that, or did something in your head go, oh, better not do that, I'll get reported again, better shut my anal and mouth hole up and play it safe? Since when does a troll play it safe? Buzzer sound. Wrong, trolls never play it safe, so you're not a troll at all. You're a contraceptive pacifist prick that needs to be terminated and removed from DeviantArt archives, and hopefully from other sites you can place your journal screenshots on. And how much of a lactating pile of diarrhea shit you spread from taking everything so far, it makes me laugh even more. What do you know what a troll does or not? How do you know trolls don't know when to play it safe? I'd say sometimes they do it just so they don't give themselves away too obviously. After all, the point of trolling is for you to believe they're an actual person being stupid, for you to basically ignorantly giving them exactly what they want. Also, contraceptive pacifist? You know, I saw this word popping up quite a bit in this journal, so out of curiosity, I went up and started looking for the definition of what contraceptive is, and this is what I found. If I do get this wrong, I do apologize. I'm not always right after all, but this is what I found. Contraceptive. Adjective. Relating to or used for contraception, able or tending to prevent impregnation. So Sweet Thorn is a pacifist who tends to prevent impregnation. That's basically what you said, Jay. He's a non-violent person who's pro-abortion. I think it's best you stop using the big words you don't know the meaning of. Also, I think I may as well clarify this, because he's basically getting this all wrong, the whole, JJ's stupid journal thing. He didn't remove it. It got terminated by DeviantArt admins. He didn't remove it on his own. It got terminated. So yeah, way to spread more lies and misinformation about the guy. Also, you criticize Sweet Thorn for taking things too far. How many things have you made on this guy? Like 10? What are you going to do now? Keep reading my journals and polls and feed your addiction and cyber harassing, sexual harassing, and continue to climax all over your journal and a website that you hate ever since you created your DA account? Time to turn on the black candle and look at the real hypercritical ass in the making is. Sweet Thorn, I think you broke yourself with your own intelligence. Congrats, keep it up. You know something, Jay? I can point out every little thing that you say about Sweet Thorn, and I can direct it right back at you. Who's the one going to Sweet Thorn's page and looking at everything he does? Who's the one outlandishly labeling him and placing them on a person who obviously does not fit the description of the words you're labeling as? Who is the one who still can't spell hypocritical right? I also have to point out how you go out and talk about how Oh, so what are you going to do? Keep reading my journals? Jay, if you didn't want him saying anything about you or reading your journals, then you wouldn't be posting this shit in the first place. Like I said before, the guy is a troll, and he looks at your journals to him because in those journals you're giving him exactly what he wants. So in the end, you're just doing nothing but playing right into his hands. You're not even a challenge, dude. Had more experienced and more intelligent trolls than you, may as well give up now and take the dock of shame and ride the boat of fail to the homeland of the defeat. Wait, so you've done this before? Yeah, now you're really in no position to talk about people not learning from their mistakes. Don't worry, people. I have a link to the original journal in the description of this video, and if you want, check out his other journals. I'm telling you, they're perfect dramatic reading material if you ever need it. Now, I'm going to take a bit of a moment to discuss a more serious matter with this guy that I've kind of been teasing throughout most of this video, and I apologize for the length of this right now, but this is about to get even longer, so bear with me. I like to talk about something he loves guilt-tripping people with. His personal life. I know, it seems odd I'd be talking about someone's personal life in an internet video, but hey, he wants to make it seem like it's such a big deal, then might as well. I'm going to go over the list of things that he claims to have happened to him. First, he claims that he's dropped out of school because bullies and teachers teased him because of his autism and type 2 diabetes. He then claims he was molested by his own father when he was a child, his mother is afraid of him, his siblings are lazy backstabbers, and he also claims to be a victim of suicide. In fact, he's even been very specific with it by saying he's attempted twice and put himself in a coma once. I'm basically here to tell you why I find every one of these claims bullshit. I know some of you feel that's me stretching a bit, and believe me, if this was any other circumstance, I wouldn't even bother. However, what makes this different, and what makes me want to get this attention, is just how he parades it in compared to the other actions that he does. I'm going to analyze every claim he's made and give you my reason as to why Taylor is nothing but a manipulative liar. First off, his bully problem. He claims bullies and teachers picked on him. They teased him and they made his life miserable because of his disabilities. You guys are probably already thinking it after I've read some parts of his recent journal. Wait, Realm, if this guy's a victim of being bullied for his disabilities, then how come he's doing the same thing in his journal? Now here's the thing, I could forgive it if it only happened once. Because I am aware that some victims of bullying can become hostile themselves or irrational. That sometimes does happen, but that's more so the fault that there's pent-up aggression in them that builds up to the point where they just can't help but lash out at the nearest person next to them. Simply because if they were to do it in front of a person who bullied them, it will only make things worse. However, that's not exactly the case here. He's made 10 things related to Sweetthorn, and even looked at the way he comments to other people who disagree with him. He does the exact same thing to them. On top of that, you saw in his journal near the end he tried appearing incredibly nonchalant about reading of Sweetthorn's newest activity despite calling him a demon spawn and wanting him to be sentenced to eternal damnation. I don't know about you, but I don't think a victim of bullying gets over something that quickly. Secondly, how he claims his father molested him. Now yes, I understand there's been cases where children have been molested by their own families before. It's horrible, it's inhumane, and just wrong. I know. Sometimes it happens more than once. However, I'm not just talking about child molestation with this next statement, but sexual harassment in general. Now, most people who are victim to sexual harassment are usually very uncomfortable when it comes to the topic of sex when it's ever at all brought up. Understandable, because they were forced to experience it without their consent. If you've been forced to have sex with someone, would you be keen on the idea of learning more about it? Learning more about it would probably just trigger the memories you've experienced that you've had that you don't really want to remember. However, my issue with Jay is this. If he really was a victim of sexual harassment, you really think that he'd be making a bunch of dick, testicle, and vagina comments in his journalism responses? In fact, he's even very open about the fact that he's bisexual and even cybers with people. Now, I'm not saying bisexuals can ever be a victim of sexual harassment, because anyone can. I'm just saying, isn't it a bit odd that someone who claims to be a victim of sexual harassment will stand proud to tell everyone he's a bisexual, even basically meaning that his sexual confrontations are good for any gender? Another thing I also like to point out is which he really proves that he's faking it. Remember when he called Sweetthorn a child molester? Considering Jay claims that he's been molested before, wouldn't he actually know what a child molester is before throwing the label out blindly? That's just me, but I'd at least like you to think about what I'm trying to say here. Lastly is him claiming to be a suicide victim. I can call bullshit on just one account. The fact that in a conversation between me and him, he told me that if he knew where I lived, he would find me and shoot me with a shotgun. Two things wrong with this. First of all, if you're someone who's a victim of suicide, then why do you fucking have a shotgun? Doesn't that sound like a bad idea to give someone who is prone to wanting to kill themselves something that can practically blow their brains out? Hell, not even military does this. If you have suicidal tendencies, they keep you away from loaded firearms. Secondly, if he's had experience of almost dying, then why would he be making death threats like that? Doesn't that sound like something a suicide victim would recommend? No. Plus, there's the fact that you wish Sweetthorn an eternal damnation. Again, what kind of suicide victim wishes for something like that? Forgive my skepticism here about these things, as if they should be taken a bit more seriously, but the signs are just too obvious. I strongly believe that he's lying about every horrible thing about himself. I strongly believe he only tells people he's experienced these issues just to get sympathy and attention from people. And if that's truly the case, I just have to say that this guy is a disgusting human being. Seriously, not just as an internet user, but as a person, he's just flat out horrible. Seriously, how fucking dare you? Especially when there's people out there who actually have gone through what he claims to have gone through. In fact, it's people like Jay here that make it hard for others to believe the stories of those who actually have suffered the things that he suffered from. He's basically like that one person from the documentary of Cyberbully, the movie. I mean, you know that main character who's basically a complete bitch to everyone around her because people bullied her online? How am I supposed to sympathize with a person like this when you're just as bad or even worse than these people? This also proves furthermore that he doesn't care for anyone other than himself. He'll just say whatever he feels like just as long as he can boost his own ego and put people under the palm of his hand. You people saw it yourself. The numerous amounts of hypocritical remarks that he made, the amount of labels he placed on Sweetthorn. It all just comes back to the fact that the guy is only making other people look bad just so he can make himself look good. Even to the point where he lies about his entire life. And you wanted me to give you some sort of compliment for this, Jay? I'm sorry, but why should I? You haven't done anything to earn yourself a compliment. What I find even more insane is the few people who actually encourage this guy's behavior. They tell Sweetthorn to stop spreading drama, but when Jay does it, they cheer him on. Not too surprising that Jay's friends are as contradictive as he is, but it still baffles me the fact that they're aware he has problems but do absolutely nothing to fix them. Instead, they encourage him and make his issues even worse. It's even more depressing because they'll even go up to you and try to convince you, "Oh, Jay's a nice person. He's a really sweet guy once you get to know him." Sorry, but I'm not convinced. Considering all the butthurt moves and misinformation he spread, and how he guilt trips people into doing his bidding for him, well, part of that tells me he's a sweet guy. Alright, I know what kind of a person a sweet person is. A sweet person is someone who climbs up an old rotting tree, up heights that could probably kill him if he slipped and fell, just to save a kitten that doesn't even belong to him. Sweet is not threatening someone who tried giving you advice by saying if you knew where they lived, they'd shoot you with a shotgun. This is really all I have to say on this matter. If at all you want to check out this guy, just follow the link in the description. You have anything you'd like to say on this matter, feel free to leave a comment. As for me, I'm not even going to make any fancy words for this. I'm just going to use a list of adjectives to describe Jay. He's butthurt, sensitive, lying, manipulative, arrogant, contradictive, insecure, pathetic, horrible, petulant, and desperate. There's probably more you could say, but it's best that I don't drag this out like he does. I guess the only thing left to say is this. You know how to use a shotgun, Jay? Well, guess what? I know how to use an M4 carbine. Come at me, bro!